Hello! We are starting on time today. Congratulations to me. Pat myself on the back, which was very difficult, I'll tell you guys, for the sole reason that I talked about this last week. I'm working on this new Gundam bust model kit, and I'm almost done. I have just working on the last of the decals on it, and I'm almost done with the decals. So it was very tempting to delay the stream so that I can finish the decals, but starting the stream on time, and I'll finish those decals later because then I gotta do top coat and whatever else on that. Yeah, we'll see. So anyway, excuse me. What's going on, guys? You can see me, hear me, feel me, and smell me. I won't go as far as to say taste. Everything is working properly, is what I would like to know. The answer is yes. Could you please review the HG Stark Jagan? I don't have one. I don't really plan to get one anytime soon. I mean, if I just happen to come across one, yeah, maybe. I've reviewed a number of other different versions of the Jagan though, so especially I've reviewed the I think it's the Char's counterattack version, right? That has the big missiles on it, which is very similar. So I mean, I've reviewed other versions of the HG Jagan that I feel like you could just kind of refer to, and it basically could serve as a review for the most part of the Stark Jagan, you know. But if I have the opportunity, yeah, I'll review it. I don't have one though, so I have no plans at the moment. Dusty, or review the HG Jesta. HG Jesta? Have I not reviewed that yet? I feel like I've reviewed the P Bandai Shezar type, didn't I? And again, so I mean, just refer to that other version, and it's basically the same, more or less, right? And then you can for the main points of the kit. I mean, there's going to be small differences, of course, between the different versions. You could just look at some photos online just to see kind of what the differences are, but maybe add a please. Please? For what? I don't know. Okay, please. I mean, I could use a hug. Herder. If you come in to the store and say hi and ask for a hug, I'll grant it to you. Are you doing well? Revan asked. Thank you for asking, Revan. I'm doing all right today. Yeah, I was sick. Again, I know it's the joy of having young kids in school. It means they're just getting all the germs from all the kids. But yeah, on Sunday I had my nose was running like crazy all day Sunday. I felt generally okay. I was just very uncomfortable, you know. And then yesterday I was just kind of still recovering a bit. I feel much better today anyway. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for asking. Have you considered reviewing the MG Turn A? I have reviewed the MG Turn A, actually. I do know that for sure, without having to kind of scratch my head thinking about it. But yeah, I have reviewed that kit. I know. Haven't I? Now you've got me questioning myself. But the Razal Ghul is saying, yo, can confirm good hugs. Yes. For those of you guys, I don't know, Razal Ghul, if you want me to, and I'm sure I have in past live streams used your first name, but anyway, for those of you guys who are hanging out in the chat, if you see the Razal Ghul there, that's a college friend of mine. So someone that I actually know, IRL, and have spent a good amount of time with. So, yes. I'm certain that in our time together, we've shared a hug or two. Let me see. There was something I was going to do, and I immediately forgot. So that's the nature of life when you get older, I think. Look at this plastic case using guy like a total amateur. Yep. I like how I've been joking about that on Twitter, and some people don't know what I'm referring to, so they think that I'm serious, or they just don't get the joke. It's funny. I'm just gonna keep doing it, and I think some people will catch on, some people will just not know what's going on. That's fine. For those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, if you've seen me like on Twitter or whatever, mentioning something about like how using these kind of boxes is for noobs, go back and look at my video, like my hate comments video that I did probably about like 2 months ago or something like that now. And in that video, and then another person has also commented since then, and I don't think in a joking way, I think they were actually totally serious, but I did receive another comment from somebody along similar lines. Basically, they were saying that like that in like a very comical way, that this like building in this way is like what exactly did they say? Anyway, that the guy said something like any pro builder would laugh at building in this way, where like you cut out all the parts and separate them into a box like this, as I do. Basically, like in a nutshell, saying that it's like a very noob way to build, or in like inefficient or unorganized, or not a good way to build, not a good way, an efficient way to go about building. Where, I mean, if you guys have seen any of my live streams or like followed me like at all, you know that this is generally how I go about my building, and it works pretty well for me. So, I mean, a little bit of a odd take, but yeah, that's the joke behind that. All right, so yeah, we're building the Forbidden Gundam here. I'll come back to just kind of chatting with you guys in a second, just to talk a little bit about this kit as we're getting into it here. I have really high expectations for this kit, just because the previous two I was very impressed with, both the Calamity Gundam and the Raider. And the Raider Gundam is not a design just in terms of like the Gundam's design. I've never really been a fan. I just thought it was really goofy looking. It looked like something out of G Gundam or something, I think, just because of the fact that it's like bird shaped, which is just kind of weird. But no, that kit really impressed me. So and I talked about in that review like how it's essentially a master grade, just without the master grade label. And yeah, I definitely felt the same way about the Calamity as well, especially because of the fact that the Calamity came out right around the same time. I don't remember exactly. Right around the same time as like the Zaku Warrior MG and the Jin MG, or a couple of MGs that I often bring up just because of the fact that, although I love those kits, don't take this as a bad thing by any means, but those kits are very simple master grade kits, just in terms of like their complexity compared to other master grade kits that have come out recently. The Jagan would be another one, where these are like master grades that are like very on the more simple side when it comes to like typical master grade kits. And so comparing kits like this, the Calamity, the Raider, and now this Gundam, to those, I think it's a very close comparison. I mean, like, these full mechanic kits, they don't have a working cockpit with like a pilot seated inside, which a lot of people think of as like one of the things that like makes MG what it is. They don't have that, but for me personally, I just don't care about that at all. I just you know, that is a cool feature of MG kits. Yes, I agree, but I mean, what it really comes down to for me is what the kit can do and what the kit looks like. And if the kit looks like very detailed and it can do essentially like any, you know, if it has good posability generally, like nice articulation and like armor moving gimmicks and stuff like that. I mean, if it just has, you know, an inner frame, I guess, would be another thing that people often talk about, but not even necessarily having a full inner frame, because like I talked about in my video talking about like what makes a master grade, as I mentioned in that video, you know, if you go back to like the earlier master grades, of course, they didn't have full inner frame. Some of like the earliest master grades barely had any inner frame detail like at all. So to say, just as an overarching fact of the matter, that master grade kits have a full inner frame, it's just not true. You know, yes, most modern ones do. Even again, like the Jin and the Zaku Warrior, in some parts of those kits, they have like a very basic inner frame. What's this part doing here? That goes over there. Anyway, so yeah, even the fact that MGs have a inner frame is not always the case. So yeah, that's why I keep hammering the point home with these kits, these full mechanics kits especially, that they are very much blurring the line between MG and not MG, and that, in my opinion, they should really be thought of as like unofficial MGs, essentially. So, yep, that's my spiel on that. I'm sure I'll talk about it more in the review. So, anyway, let me get back to just hearing what some of you guys have to say, or reading what some of you guys have to say. Is there a possibility that using Tamiya enamel panel line would ruin your Gunpla? Oh, we talked about this quite a lot, or you guys especially talked about this in the chat quite a bit in the last live stream. But yeah, to answer Octave's question, it's not going to ruin your Gunpla, but you do need to be a little bit careful with it, because it can weaken, stress, and crack your plastic. Yes, basically due to the solvent in the Panaline fluid. It's just very thin paint, essentially. So it just has more solvent in it compared to just regular paint. Reiji said, I like these scaled pilots personally and would buy them separately if they're available. I mean, yeah, like the standing ones are cool. The ones that are seated in the cockpit, I mean, like, you're so rarely ever going to see them once you put it in the kit. Most people don't display their master grade kits with the cockpit open. And then even if the cockpit is open, with most master grade kits, even if the cockpit hatch is open, you can barely see the pilot inside. So, I mean, it's a cool feature, but, you know, not something that really matters in the long run that much to me personally. Wish list of future full mechanics BQ. Revan, no, my wish list, just like half a wish list, half a prediction, because I think it's very likely that this may actually happen. Though, I mean, who knows if and when, but I think that the Throne series from 00, so like the Throne Ein, the Throne Zwei, Throne Dry, is that it? I don't know. Yeah, those three, kind of similar, like how for Seed they did like these 3 enemy like bad guy Gundam mobile suits. They could do the same thing for 00, doing like those Throne mobile suits, those Throne Gundams as full mechanics kits. I think would make a lot of sense. I don't know, you know, who knows what Bandai is going to do, but I think those would be very likely, and they'd be cool kits. I'd be all for it. I've always been a fan of those designs. I've never sprung for the HGs though, just because Seed HGs are kind of meh looking. But those would definitely be, I think they would make a lot of sense for full mechanics releases for the future. Thank you, Kisum. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. What is that emoji? That's kind of hard to see. Is that a rat? What is that? I can't really tell. It's very small on my screen there, but thank you for that. I will put that to good use. I'll have some beer later or something like that. But yeah, other full mechanics. So again, something else that I've talked about, you know, many times before. Anyway, just to kind of briefly mention on the build so far. Looks great, awesome build here for the arms. The manual has you build the arms first. I'm not really sure if there's a good reason for that particularly. I would assume that there is, maybe just like with how you build the torso, that you have to like put the arms on like kind of halfway through, but actually looking ahead of the manual, it's not the case. So there's not really any particular reason as far as I can tell why you build the arms first, but I'm just following the manual. Other good options. Oh yeah, so the full mechanics line, full mechanics as far as we can tell, I don't think this has ever been officially stated from Bandai, but Full Mechanics line is for anything non-UC. Anything UC comes out as a RE100 kit. We haven't seen RE100 line for a long time, and a lot of people just think that the RE100 line is gone. My opinion, without having any direct knowledge from Bandai, is that the RE100 line is not gone, but it's just that Bandai is going to put out their releases as either Full Mechanics or RE100, just depending on what it is. So we've had Full Mechanics releases in place of RE100. So after this, the next 1/100 scale non-MG kit could be an RE100 kit if they go back to doing something from UC. It just kind of depends if it's going to be UC or not. So if it is something more from UC, as in the RE100 line, there's a lot of really great options, especially in Zeta and Double Zeta. So stuff like the Palace Athene would be an awesome one. What was another one that I kept thinking of? Like, I don't really like the design of the Bolanax-Saman, but it's an Amuro suit, so it's one that I could see coming out at some point. It doesn't even have an HG though, for that matter, so maybe less likely. But there's a lot of really cool designs in Zeta and Double Zeta. Let's see. Didn't most early MG come with screws? Rama said over on Twitch. Most, I guess, yeah. A lot of the early MGs did include the use of screws, which I don't like. That is one feature of early MGs that I do not like, just for the sole reason that they're usually hard to put in. So usually, I mean, if you guys have ever built an MG that uses screws, then you've probably had this experience where you have to like screw it and it only goes in like halfway because the tolerance is too tight, and it's like really, really tight. So then you have to back it out and screw it back in and back it out and screw it back in order to actually get it in all the way. So that's the only reason why I find screws in MG kits annoying to deal with. But normally you don't really actually need them. A lot of times, like these days, whenever I build an MG, like an older MG that requires screws, I usually just leave the screws out and it's perfectly fine. I mean, like if you really, really wanted to make sure that you have like the added stability, you could use the screws, but for the most part, it's really just kind of like an added security, just to give you that little bit more stability when you kind of don't really, really need it. Let's see. But I love this kit. It goes together great. Yeah, so far it's going together really nicely. What do you think about the Full Mechanics aerial? I've not built it, but yeah, again, that is one a little bit different from this, where I think that this kit, like for this particular Gundam, we're not ever going to have an MG of this Gundam. And for me, in my opinion, this Full Mechanics kit serves perfectly well as the closest thing to an MG that we're ever going to get for this. In the case of the aerial, I think it is very likely that we will get an MG of it at some point, because it's like the lead Gundam of the series and it's a popular Gundam, so it's likely we'll get an MG, and the MG will likely be better. So similar to like the Barbatos, we had the Full Mechanics Barbatos, which was great, a lot of fun. Everybody loved it when it came out, but then when the MG came out, the Full Mechanics kit was pretty much useless then at that point. This MG was so much nicer. So while I haven't built the Full Mechanics aerial, but it looks great. I've seen a lot of really, really great builds of it. Seems like everybody enjoys it quite a bit. If and when we get an MG, I'm sure it will be better, of course, but we don't know if and when that's going to happen. I'd say it's more of a when than an if, but until we know, who knows. Will we get a review of the RG versus MG Epion? Well, it's a good question, because yeah, I actually have not ever built the MG Epion, so it might be interesting to build the MG Epion so that I could compare them. But so I'll think about that, but I will, at the very least, I will definitely be reviewing the RG Epion. Yeah, of course, that'll be out very soon. I think it's not released yet, but it's like this weekend or something, very soon, I believe it's coming out. Full Mechanics Gaia Gundam. I don't think that they're going to continue this series of full mechanics like enemy seed mobile suits. I think 3 is probably what they'll do. Have you seen the motor nuclear kits? Yes, I've not built any though. Hoping for a full mechanics Gaia. Saw that. Okay, I'm behind in the chat, so I'm just kind of reading back a little bit, trying to catch up on what some of you guys were talking about. Just passing by. Alvin said on Twitch, a raccoon. Oh, okay, that's what that was in the chat. There was a raccoon, huh? Okay, thank you. Are you a fan of the HMM Zoids kits? Yeah, definitely. They're really cool. And as I've talked about in the couple of those that I have reviewed, they're comparing them to Gunpla, they're kind of like between MG and PG. They have a ton of parts and a ton of detail, which is really cool. They definitely take a good amount of time to put together, which is, if that's what you're looking for, you will definitely enjoy that. In my experience building a few different ones, the stability kind of, some of them are a bit more stable than others. You know, they're definitely more model kits than toys. So, you know, something to keep in mind. Like especially like little parts and things, you may want to use a little bit of glue just in case you don't like lose any parts or anything, but they're really, really cool kits. Well worth the price. Been hoping for more MG Build Fighters series or full mechanics maybe. It would be kind of interesting if Bandai went back and did like some full mechanics releases of some Build Fighters designs. That would be kind of cool. I'd be in for that. Are you going to review the Daisy Ogre? I don't plan to. I really don't like the design at all. Let's see. Chris Jones said, you think we get the Thrones in full mechanics line first or Seed Destiny? I would say the Thrones is more likely to be first because like I was just saying, I think to just do like 3 Seed releases and then like continue to keep doing Seed Destiny, I think they probably want to mix it up a bit more. I mean, either option is very possible. Afternoon, Zach. Unfortunately, I'll be popping in and out, having to pack my kits for a move. The kit looks great. Oh, well, Jazz, good luck with that. Have fun. Saku wants an RE100 Kshatriya. Yeah, I mean, if not an MG, then I'm all for RE100 Kshatriya. Yeah. Game Hulk? Yeah, of course. Chris, you know, that's one that I often, not often enough. Oh, speaking of that, though, another one that I always forget to mention about is the Syscade. I would love a RE100 Syscade. Would be another really cool one as well. Fire alarms, yeah, that would be a good choice. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna get back to building here in just a second. Any advice on 3D printing, Revan? No, I don't really have any experience with that, although I may have some experience in the near future. We'll see. Just finished the HMM D-Bison. Yeah, I've not built that one, but it does look cool. How do you feel about Mega Size? I love the Mega Size kits. I wish that that's a line that I wish would come back and be, you know, popular. I don't know what's the right word. Anyway, I wish that was a line that Bandai would continue with for sure. I really enjoy the full mechanics kits. Not the full mechanics, sorry, the Mega Size kits. Just because they're so different. And generally, they look really good. Now, the ones that I haven't built are the Age ones, so that I'm hoping that those get reissued at some point in the near future. Hopefully, because I would like the chance to build one of the Age 1, especially, Mega Size kits. So fingers crossed that will get a reissue. But the RX-78 and the Unicorn both just recently did get a reissue. So I know they're probably sold out or selling out very quickly. So if you guys are wanting to get one, probably should move fast to do so. But I would recommend the Mega Size line. That's again something that I feel is well worth the price. Because they're expensive, but just because you're getting like a huge kit. You're getting a lot of plastic in there. Kind of interesting construction here for this. I think that clicked. It's supposed to click. I didn't really hear a proper click, but I think it clicked well enough. Also, just some things that I'd like to point out to you guys. Some really nice engineering going on here in the torso section. So this light green piece we had to put on there, and it was just kind of like floating on. It wasn't connected with anything. But then once this gray piece is plugged into this black piece here in the front with this peg right here, that will lock this green piece into the front piece. So that basically what that's giving you is that this green piece is one solid piece rather than being two pieces with a seam line somewhere in between, which I feel like they could have done. Wouldn't have been that bad, but it's just some nice engineering going on. And then also, this is something I don't know how intentional this is, but like, for example, this red piece right here on the front, which pops into there. Now, the problem with pieces like this normally is that if you're putting that piece in there and then later, if you want to disassemble the kit for painting, you have a really hard time getting that out. But what they've done, and I don't know, again, if this was on purpose, but they didn't, they left a hollow, they left a gap, a hole here behind this part, so you could easily push that part out from the inside. Normally what you would have to do is drill a hole, and that's what I would do, and it's not difficult, but they just kind of save you the step of having to do that by just leaving that hollow in there behind the red part, so you can just press it back out from the inside. So that's cool. Kind of interesting stuff going on there with that. Do you think Bandai will continue the Wing EW series for the next RG? I'm doubtful of that. I don't know. A lot of people do. Hang on. Did I miss? I did miss a step along the way. Oops. I'm gonna take this apart now. Yeah, a lot of people have wanted and have been predicting more Gundam Wing RGs ever since we got the first one, right? Hang on, let me just make sure I'm putting this together this time correctly, so don't have to take this apart again. But I was surprised that we even got, 3 different versions of the Wing Gundam in the RG line. So, yeah, my thought is that I would not anticipate anytime soon, like stuff like anything like the Death Scythe or Ultron or anything else like that. But I don't know. I wouldn't have expected we got so many RG Wing Gundams, so who knows? Okay. So yeah, kind of weird construction here for this part. It's kind of a little bit tricky to kind of balance these parts to get them in here properly. But anyway, once it goes in, it's very cool. So I left out this part there for the top. Anyway, all right. That part like that out the back. We can close this up. It's like the center part of the torso, and I'll show this to you guys here in just a second, because it's very reminiscent of the Freedom Master Grade Freedom Gundam 2.0, where it had like the center part of the torso and the side parts of the torso separate for like further articulation. It doesn't work in the same way at all. Like in terms of the actual construction of it, it's not similar, but it just kind of has a similar feel to it because it's using just the way that the torso is separated into like the center section and the side sections. All right. But again, just generally, I'm very impressed with the build so far. It's very nice. So a ton of like this section right here, which is just like for the side of the torso, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts there. So I mean, not bad. This was this part, which goes on. Okay, we'll hold off on that for a second. We got these two. I'll just kind of show this to you guys in a bit more detail because I find it quite impressive. So this is these two parts. So you have an inner and outer piece, so you can paint that. This is going to be like not visible at all, I feel like, but it's detailed and you could paint it separately as a separate color. And then we have this part here on the front that closes that up. On the outside, a separate part here, there's detail inside of there you could paint, and then a separate part here for this vent part right there. And then on the top, a separate part here, and on top of that, a separate part here, like that. So everything's separated out very nicely. So when you know, if and when you are going to paint this kit, feel like it's set up in a way that is, you know, very conducive to easy painting. So what are we doing here first? So this one goes on to the side here like that first, then this one onto here, then we can close this up. Like that for our torso. So the torso is going to be like that. Really cool. And the shoulder joint is also so unique here. Let me show this to you guys. This is also very different. You have this part that's sticking out with the ball joint, and this part the whole ball joint can rotate forward and back, and you could also then rotate this as well. Rotate that up and down, so it should give us a pretty wide range of movement there for the shoulder, and it fits onto there really comfortably, I feel like. So you kind of extend that out. Well, I guess this could be trouble. So like when you're going to like have that extended, you have to kind of pull it, and I feel like I felt like it was going to come off the ball joint first, but it did actually extend that shoulder joint out to the side first, and that gives you a really wide range of movement there on that. That's unique. I like that. It's different. It's always nice to, you know, whether it works well or not is up for debate, and we'll find out on the actual kit, but at least putting it together is totally different from anything that I've built before, which is always fun. So I can say I've never built a Gundam kit with a shoulder joint that's quite like that before. All right, the head is next, and then we'll be on to the lower body. And the head, I think, is going to be the only place where we've got stickers here for the kit, even though we do have some really tiny parts in here as well, but a clear blue part for the head cameras and the eyes, but you can use a sticker if you want. I'm gonna go ahead and use the stickers, but I will tell you guys that you certainly don't have to. Sticker 1. My only reasoning is just because for anybody who does want to use the stickers, you can see how that looks. I guess it'd be equally valid to show how the clear part looks in case somebody is opposed to using stickers. But generally, stickers on an unpainted kit, the stickers catch the light better. If I can get this on here. Yeah. Come on. Is that like... It's totally flat, but it's not flat, is it? Oh, interesting. Okay. It's having some trouble getting that sticker on there. But we do also have a sticker for the back head camera, which will go on this part. I'll grab a toothpick here. Okay. Yo, hey, what's going on, Ryan? You were just hanging out recently with David, I saw. That was cool. He's not still there, is he? What are you guys up to? Where can I get a part separator box like you have at I Need One? Duan, you can get them kind of anywhere. The ones that I have, I love, and all the ones that I've seen like here in the US at different stores, like usually like different like Michael's and like, yeah, I'm sure like Walmart probably has them. Anywhere that sells like kind of craft supplies and stuff is usually where you can find them. Be like with craft supplies or like fishing supplies, because people use them for like fishing tackle boxes and lures and stuff like that. But any of the ones that I've seen here don't look as nice as the ones that I have. Unfortunately, the ones that I have, I love just because of the way that they're separated out. And the ones that I have are from Korea, unfortunately. So I can tell you that I got them at Home Plus, but unless you're in Korea, that doesn't mean anything to you. So official box here. Let me tell you here real quick why I like these so much. Number one, okay, let me show you why I like these boxes so much. Number one, they actually have actual latches on them, and it's not just like a lot of them like just kind of closes and there's like a little tab here on the front that kind of clips. It's not as secure. This one has like 2 latches, so it's really secure. And the other thing is that, of course, it has dividers, so you can kind of choose how you want to divide things. But the sizes and the spaces work out really well. So like this is how I usually have it laid out. That the torso goes here, waist section goes here, the leg sections go here, and this works because this is like a longer and larger section, where like on the legs a lot of times you'll have like longer and larger pieces. Head usually goes here, because you just need a small little part there for the head pieces. Usually it's nothing very big. And then arm, and then backpack and weapons parts are kind of up at the top. That kind of, just depends on the kit, like what it has. So the kind of the layout of it is works really well for Gundam model kits in particular, and I use it for other things as well. But a lot of the ones that I've seen, normally how it is, it's just like a square grid, and you can kind of choose how you wanted to have it set up. But this one's kind of, I don't know, just worked well. So I really like the ones that I have here. All right, I want to zoom in to build the head here, because it's going to be small, and I feel like it's going to have some nice part separation and everything that I feel like would be useful for you guys to see up close. So we've got our clear part right here. I did put those stickers on there, and then this face part, which fits over that. So this will give us the Vulcans in the head and the vents on the side of the face in this like dark gray black color. Very nice. And then got our red piece for both under the eyes and for the chin piece, and then our green piece to fit over the top of that. I am putting, no, that's the wrong piece. No wonder it didn't fit. This one, there we go, for the face like that. So I love the fact that it even gives us to the red for under the eyes, which is really cool here as well. Then we can put this into the side of the head. So the gray for the vents on the side of the head will be poking through. The Vulcan on the side will be poking through. Got this piece here for the kind of cowl at the back, the separate part that will move separately there for when you want to have the head pointed up. And I think that's, yeah, we can close it up, right? So let's close up that like so. There's going to be a seam here on the back though that's made up as a panel line, so that's okay. Front of the face looks like that. Then we've got the separate piece that goes in here for the front of the head like that to close up the front, and this piece for the top, kind of top and back like so. Very nice. And then the V-fin. Should put this piece together on here first. Sorry, I know I'm kind of like all over the place. That on there. I'm trying to do this carefully whilst doing my best to stay in frame as well. Okay, bear with me. I'm just gonna have to get more up close so I can make sure I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, and then got separate pieces for these front little face vent parts. So those are gonna be fun to paint, as tiny as they are. And not lose along the way. And then this red piece for the top of the head, like this. And there you go. Pretty impressive color separation, everything on there. Again, another reason why, in my opinion, it's very much a MG without the MG name. But there we go. Very cool. All right, let's zoom back out a little bit and move on to the lower part of the body. All right, what's the best way to make eyes pop when you're painting besides using LEDs? Do I have some here? Let me see. Where is that? I'll show you if I can find where I put it. Here's some right here, using some of this like Aurora film. This one's like just plain like silver, rainbow, kind of whatever. Otherwise you can get it in like different colors. This is one I use like for like Zaku mono eyes sometimes, because pre-cut circles, but you can just cut whatever shape out of it you want as well. This film like this, I have some like different colors as well. This one I've used before as well. It's just Aurora film. It's like pink and orangish, kind of like that. Thing about this stuff, it can be really tricky to cut, especially if you're just trying to cut a little piece. Basically, you could just kind of make your own sticker out of it. But if you're just wanting to put that on the eyes of your kit, you need to cut out a tiny little shape that's exactly the right shape of the size. So that's why using the sticker sheet like this, using this as a negative, works really well. So like you could peel off this and stick it on top of that Aurora film, and then just like cut out around here, cut out your eyes out of that stickers, and then just peel and stick it onto the kit. So that's one thing that you can do. It's not easy, just because if you bend the Aurora film or like kind of, you know, peel it, and if you're not being careful, as soon as like you damage it, it's not going to have that same look. So to do it well takes a little bit of finesse, but it does look good. Alternatively, painting would be the best bet. Legs are next. I would love to build the hips first, so that once we build the legs, we would be able to then actually put them on the kit. But manual says legs first, so legs we shall. All right. Let's see. Could be. Blah, blah. Is the head? Was that question there? Sorry. Revan asked, "Is the head completely tuck in when the backpack swiveled?" Yes. That is one of the things that they feature quite prominently in like on the box art and in the promo material and everything. That the head part tucks in when the backpack folds up and over. So yes, it's definitely one of the gimmicks of this kit. Ron Mover on Twitch said, "I've always hated Bandai yellow injection gold, so I end up painting them with metallic gold Gundam marker." Yeah, the yellow on this kit is certainly a very unique kind of yellow. It's slightly greenish, just to match for the color of the suit. I don't like it either, but I mean that's just kind of the official color of it. It's not a nice looking color of yellow in my opinion. Jiku, paint the eyes silver chrome, maybe underside of a clear part, and then add a color on top of it. Works pretty nicely. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to go about doing it. Well, one of the best things I could recommend you to do is just to try some different techniques out and kind of see. Another thing too is just kind of how you have the kit displayed. If you don't have the kit, depending on like what kind of lighting you have on the display, whatever, if you don't have it like lit in a particular way, or if you have it displayed in some kind of shelf or case, whatever, no matter what you do with the eyes, you may just not be able to see it just because of how you have the kit displayed. So it's another thing to just kind of keep in mind. Okie dokie. The ankle joint and feet is first, so let's do it. Right off the bat, I can tell you guys, once again, with this section, like with so much of the kit thus far, it feels certainly very different and unique. This ankle joint already is like, what? I don't know what's going on with this, but I'm here for it. So that's in there. Yeah, really funky design here with this one. That goes like that and like that. Goes on there. Close that up. The top of the foot would be gray. All right. Man. I mean, just look at that. How good just the foot looks. Got that nice toe bend and everything. You got even like a little piece of like moving armor there for the ankle armor. I'm telling you guys. Beautiful. Okay, this is subtle, but look at how nice this is. So there's a piece, this piece that this ankle armor is plugged into via a ball joint right there. That's a part of the frame of the foot, so that, here's the bottom. When you bend the toe down, it brings the ankle armor down with it. You can see it's going to be a subtle turn there. You can see how the ankle armor is moving as well with that frame connection piece to the front of the foot. That's quality. All right. Good way to rehearse on clear runners. Yes, yeah, absolutely. I don't have any like actually really that much at the moment, but I used to keep a bunch of just parts of clear runners, because you can then use those for like making your own little clear parts for different. If you just need like a little clear circle part, you can just cut off a little piece of a runner or something like that. It's also good for experimenting, yeah, different paints on the clear parts or anything. Just the right amount of detail and such a great articulation and design. Ryan, yeah, you have to check this one out. I think you'll love it. I'm loving it. And I hate the fact that as soon as I said that, I just thought of McDonald's. And I don't even eat McDonald's. But man. All right. So, okay, we got our leg frame, and it's not going to be a full frame, no, but almost. That's there. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be real close to that. Thigh parts, front and back, those look very nice. I'm glad they spent the time to make such a nice design in invisible areas like the bottom of the foot, which won't be seen as much, is fine. Yeah, that's I mean, that's another good point on the topic of like this being kind of quasi MG, as I've been saying, just because. And that's the whole point of like with the RE100 line and then this line as well, is that they, for all intents and purposes, on the outside look like MGs. They don't have everything going on the inside, and they don't have like different features like the seated pilot inside the cockpit and stuff like that. But you know, just on the outside, there are, you know, everywhere of the kit that you can see when the kit is fully assembled is highly detailed. So I like that. Yeah, because, you know, the super detailed inner frame is nice, and it's cool to see like while you're building the kit, but you know, once you have the kit built, if it's in an area where it's completely invisible, then there's really, you know, there's just not really that much point to it. But that's why these are really nice, I think. Let's see. That goes on there. And that's there. I have a feeling I didn't put this part on here correctly, or maybe I did. I guess that's it, huh? Okay. Anyway. And like that. Okay, so yeah, here is the knee joint. I was just kind of trying to figure out these parts here on the back of the legs. So on the back here, when you lift this part up, let me zoom out a little bit and then zoom back in. These parts here on the back of the leg, when you lift this part up, it kind of expands this out slightly, and this part you can still kind of move freely. But when you bend the knee, those can press all the way down in there like that, so you can get that full bend there at the knee. Pretty cool. All right. And yeah, it's not like the most complicated construction by any means, but it does what it needs to do. It looks really nicely detailed. It's designed in a way that doesn't make for any seam lines. So for me, that checks all the boxes. Everything you need right there. It's like engineering wise, it's like the beauty of a full mechanics kit, or not a full mechanics kit, sorry, a an entry grade kit. It's one of the great things about like the entry grade line is how nice the kits are. I'm gonna see if I can put this second leg together without referring to the instructions at all. We'll see how well that goes. But entry grade line, you know, the construction of them is so nice, and like they do so much with so little. So they have fewer parts, but I mean they're able to do like really nice color separation, really nice articulation, everything like that. And this is very similar in that same way. I mean, like, yeah, it doesn't have as many parts as it would if it was a full-on MG, like in the leg frame and stuff like that, but it still is able to pull off all the same articulation. Still looks just as detailed on the outside, and so it works very nicely. How are the nub marks? I mean, nothing worth noting. I mean, just fine, I guess, to answer your question. I'm not like sure what you're exactly looking for. You wanting to know if there's any like particularly troublesome like gates that are like very large, or on spots where like it's on like a dark color, so it would be very easily seen or something, like, for example. Haven't noticed anything like that. I don't think that there's really too much that you would have to look out for, so should be good. All right, Zach, do you think they'll be making P Bandai variants of this kit like the Forbidden Blue Vortex? Possibly. They did do a P Bandai variant of the Calamity, didn't they? The Ale Calamity, or is that right? They did not of the Raider, though, as far as I can remember. So, I mean, yeah, it's very possible. Very, very possible, yes. That's a wrap on the second leg. It's even easier the second time around. Very quick. Okay. Finally, the waist section, so that we can put everything all together. And then we'll move on to the backpack, which there's a lot going on there. So that'll be its whole separate thing. Okay. Ooh, record time to build a leg. Yeah, it was. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's quick and simple. It's designed so well that, I mean, it's what is it? I don't know. It's like user interface, I guess. It's sort of like what I would like compare to, just like a really good like UI. What's the word I'm trying to think of? It's like or like it's very easy to figure out just like naturally without instructions, kind of what's the word? English is difficult. What is it? Help me out, guys. It's right there on the tip of my tongue. User-friendly? No, there's a word for it. Yeah, user-friendly. Intuitive. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yes. Very intuitive design. Yes. Definitely. Okay. So, on to the hips. This is also going to be very interesting. the way that this section goes together. Again, I can pretty confidently say I've never built a hip section quite like this before. Ryan, you may like this. I was actually just talking with close. You were close. I was actually just talking with Josh the other day, recommending him the Jim Spartan because he hasn't really built a whole lot of Gunpla in general recently, but he's building the Barzam sets, the recently released Advanced Zeta Aqua Barzam sets. I helped him pick up a set of those and sent them to him. Anyway, and I was telling him how good the Jim Sniper, not the Jim Sniper, the Jim Spartan was. I was telling him how awesome that kit was, and I'm gonna have to let him know how fun this build is as well, to add to my recommendations list for him. And you too, Ryan. All right, so this one's this guy, which fits up and onto the ball joint and then rotate it around. Feel like I didn't do that quite correctly, but okay. And the way that goes on there, let me just show you guys, because that's kind of cool. Yeah. So for this side skirt armor here, Forbidden's backpack has always reminded me of Geno Breakers from Zoids. Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see that. The side skirt, you put this part up kind of over the ball joint here first, and then bend that down so that when you put this part over the top of that, that kind of like closes it in or locks it onto the ball joint there. So I'm sure it'll still like pop off if you play with it. If you play with it too much, it'll come off, but it's locked onto there pretty nicely. And we have this separate little piece there for that little bit there on the side. And also for these front and back black vents, which will give you a separate red there on the inside. Very nice. And this one here, look at that. Very cool. Yep. Yes. How was your day? Hey, seeing the little section of Extra Hobby Japan magazine about Kit Bash, it would be really interesting if you started a project using garbage and recyclable things. Oh, trust me, I've thought about it. If not like doing something like that, but just building, just making something just completely out of scrap parts. It's definitely something that I've wanted to do for a long time. Eventually, I will, but I just need to like take like my box of leftover spare parts home one day and then just like kind of keep it at home to just kind of fiddle around with there. I never noticed the resemblance. Love Geno Breaker. Yeah, the like big cannon sections there on the side, right? Definitely very Geno Breaker-esque. All right, so let's finish up the rest of this skirt armor here. Put those on there. The back skirt, have this piece for the underside of the back skirt, which again, look at all that detail on the underside of the back skirt, also on the underside of the front skirts. Look at that. I mean, I'd have to go back and look, but I mean, we have MGs, like recent MGs that I feel like didn't have that much detail. This one. It's like that. Not only does that gray part give you all that detail underneath, but there's also these little bits of gray poking out through the front of there as well. And the pegs fitting into that looks just like regular details. It's so good to design. Oh yeah, good eye on that as well, Ryan. I'm assuming you're talking about here on the back. Yeah, if you look in real closely here, I think this is what Ryan's referring to. The connection between the armor piece and the underside interior design piece, that these little holes you see there even have a little like screw detail, like a little line going across them. It's gonna be kind of hard to see, but they're even like designed with a tiny little detail on those pegs to look like little screws even. Well, not these ones up here. Okay, just these ones down here, I should say. Anyway, so like if you paint those, and once you put this together, you won't even notice those as like pegs. It'll just look like, it'll just blend in as part of the detail of the underskirt. So, yes, very nice. Let's put it together. Here. Watch, like as I'm putting it together, it just all, as I've been talking it up this whole time, suddenly just all crumbles to pieces. But it doesn't seem like that's happening, so. All right, let me just get this posed properly. The hip joints feels like really tight. I feel like I have something on here not quite right. Hang on. Oh, okay, yeah. The leg was popping out there. There we go. Certainly a bulky looking boy by design, but pretty awesome looking, I've got to say. All right. When are we getting a Gunpla collection video, Zaku? Probably never. I don't think that I just want to do that. All right. I'm gonna put this aside because there's a lot of parts here for the backpack, so it's gonna take up a good amount of space here. And let's see. I hate the back piece of this kit. It's too heavy. But yeah, we'll see how much of an issue that makes for the kit. What do you do with all the kits you don't want anymore? Well, occasionally I will like just sell off kits if it's, you know, in reality, I'll probably not ever like completely paint and finish 99% of the kits that I own. But you know, if it's a kit that I know I'm definitely not going to ever really be that interested in painting and finishing, then I will every so often kind of gather those kits up and just try to sell some for like next to nothing, just because it's just like snap build kits and I'm just like wanting to get rid of some. But I will do that from time to time. Otherwise, if it's a kit that I think that I may want to paint someday, I'll just kind of hang on to it. Ooh. All right, see you later, Ryan. I don't know if you're still there or not. But yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out for a little bit. Where do you sell them? Normally I'll post it like first in my Discord. To kind of give the guys at my Discord kind of first crack at it. And then I would just like post it on my Facebook page or whatever. I haven't done that in quite a while. Gunpla Dad, we live? Yes, we are live for another short bit. We're kind of nearing the end here, but we do still have quite a lot of backpack left to build. So let's get to it. We got these parts here. Which there is 3 different sizes. So let's see if I can differentiate them. I think that's good. Okay, how do we put these on now? So that fits in there like that, and then just turn it. That's all. Okay. Pretty straightforward. So it fits in one way, and then turn it. I turned that one the opposite way, or no, I didn't. Okay. Put it in and turn it. All right, easy enough. And we need to do that twice. Yeah. Okay, long one first. Put in. I assume that these are, I'm just eyeballing it, and I think I figured out the right sizes. There's like a small, medium, and large one here of these. I would assume that they are made in a way so that like the pegs are, each one's a slightly different size, it looks like a 3mm, 2.5, and a 2mm. So that like even if you're like me and you don't know which one's which, that like you couldn't mess it up if you tried, kind of thing, basically. It's like even if you tried putting the wrong one in, it just wouldn't fit. So you got that little red piece in there for a nice little bit of color separation. You close that up, so you got that little red bit at the tip. Very nice. Ruben asked, do you know how long a glass file will last before you would have to replace it? I'm not sure, actually. Obviously, it would last longer than like just a piece of sandpaper. But I'm not actually sure how long generally you would expect a glass file to last. If anybody else has any more experience with that in the chat, feel free to chime in. Kind of interesting for this nylon hose part, you're supposed to tie it in a knot at the end. And I hope that there's enough space inside these parts for that knot to like fit well. Should have followed the instructions though. The instructions say to string this through here first before you tie in a knot, and then I'm thinking that probably would have been a good way to go, because now I'm having trouble getting it through. Not that the knot has anything to do with getting it through this end, but it just would have been a good idea probably to just do this first before bothering with tying the other end of it. Come on. I feel like a lighter would be a good thing to have here, just to like burn the end of this so you could get it through easier. Hang on. We'll try it the other way with the other one and see if it works better. come on, just come through there, will you please? Got it. Okay. So yeah, it did end up getting frayed quite a bit in the process, but once that's tied, we take this piece, and it doesn't look like there's any particular order to this, but kind of stack a few pieces together here to get our color separation. Very interesting indeed. Let me do that again up close so that you guys can see what was going on with that piece. So look at this. This is the kind of outside shield part here. So to get that little bit of color at the center, you stack these parts to get the red and yellow, which will fit in there from behind like that. And then we take this piece, which when we put this in will give us the inside and bottom of these kind of little vents around the side. You can see it's just hollow right now, right there. This piece that we put in from the bottom will give us those, like I said, the inside and the bottom half of those little vent kind of little details right there. So that's pretty cool. Now, to see how this goes. So that's in there like that. Interesting. And we can close this up. And it looks like there's plenty of space. So this was what I was concerned about, because once that nylon hose is tied in a knot, I mean, it's kind of a big knot. It's a big piece of nylon. But once we close this up, seems like there's going to be plenty of space for that inside of there. So no worries there. That's good. So we close that up. And then got these parts which fit around the side here like that. And that red piece at the bottom will give you that red panel on the top, and it looks pretty cool on the underside as well. It's like this kind of fan detail there. Pretty sizable parts here. That. And this part on the top. It's like not wanting to fit on there. Somewhere along the way, something's not connected quite right. There we go. And then these little teeth at the top here. And there you go. Pretty awesome. Very large, this part. I wish that Bandai would have included a like a wire to go inside of this hose part, so that it's not just kind of all loosey-goosey. If you put a wire through there, then you would actually be able to kind of bend and adjust the hose of that better. We'll see how it is once we get a little bit further along here. I'll reserve judgment for the moment. It was definitely easier to put this through there first. Let's tie this. All right, what's the current or next painted build, Zaku? Carl wants to know. Well, Carl, I've got the, like I was kind of mentioning before at the start of the stream, and I mentioned in last week's stream as well. Actually, I will show you in just a moment if you just want to hang tight. Just about finished with a 1/35 scale new Gundam head bust model kit, which is obviously an unofficial aka bootleg kit from years ago. I've had it for quite a while. What is going on with this? Ooh, ouch! I use the part separator here. For some reason, something's keeping these from fitting together properly. That's right. Not sure. Okay. There you go. That was the culprit. Yeah, working on that new Gundam bust. Almost finished with that. That was just supposed to be just kind of a relatively quick kind of little side project. I didn't really do any kind of real customization on that. I actually had it like all prepped for painting like months ago, and just kind of had just been sitting around, not doing anything with it. I finally was like, just gonna make a quick paint job out of that. I kind of needed something to just paint up. It's all still disassembled. I can't really show it to you in too much detail, but here's a little bit of like kind of the head, just to give you guys a look at the size of it. So like I'm working on putting the decals on it, which I'm almost done. Like the head, face is in there like that. For the color scheme, this panel on the side opens up, so that's why I like the inside's painted like that. This kind of opens out like that a little bit. For the color scheme, I went with the heavy weapon system color scheme. The HWS color scheme is slightly different. Has like a kind of warmer tone. The colors are just slightly changed. So, is that the Gotcha Bust or different one? No, Brett, that's the Magic Toys bust. So yeah, it was gifted to me by friends in the Philippines while I was visiting there. So glad I'm finally able to put it together. Next up on building models that were gifted to me, I need to also build the Core Fighter, the UC Hardgraph 1/3 scale Core Fighter model. That was gifted to me by friends in Chile when I went there a few years back. And hopefully we'll be able to go again. Thicker one goes here. It's another example of how Bandai makes this very foolproof. It's like one of the things that people will say about like they're not sure if they could do the whole like box assembly method here that I use, just because they feel like they would get parts mixed up and confused. Like these parts here. For example, these two pegs on these either ends I just put on there, they look basically the same, but they're very slightly different in size. So that said, you can't really get them confused because they fit properly only onto one of the pegs. Like this one doesn't fit at all onto this peg. It's just there's no way it would be able to fit. So obviously it goes on the other side. Whereas the other one, for example, you tried to put it on here, it's way too loose and just doesn't make sense. So obviously it goes on the other side. So even though I don't know which one's which, like which one is F23 and which one's F24, you can very easily figure it out just by just putting it together, because it just plain doesn't fit if you try to do it the wrong way. So Bandai has your back. Don't worry. especially with like modern kits. I mean, they're very much foolproof. You couldn't put it together wrong if you tried. There's that. How's the build? Bootlegs are usually infamous for their poor quality. Well, so far it's been fine. Chris, I don't know if Chris Pabs is still in the chat, but I think he has built it. Either he has built it or he hasn't built it, and he was just offering his commentary on it. But he mentioned before, I think in a previous live stream, that he thought like the fit and just like kind of the overall build quality and everything was not very good. But I haven't noticed any issues with it, really. I did like a snap build of everything, just kind of as I was getting the parts ready for painting, just like a snap build, just like a dry fit sort of, and like sanding all the parts and everything, getting them ready for paint, and everything just feels fine. I like the Dendro just casually chilling in the background. What? My plant? What am I? But yeah, I haven't noticed any issues with that kit. That said, if you're thinking that you would like to find one, I don't know how easy that kit would be to find at this point. Probably not very much. Not very easy to find. All right, so yeah, now I'm really wishing that I had a lighter, because getting this hose in through here is going to be difficult. Oh, you know what would work? There would be tape. Just a little bit of masking tape on there. Let's see. Should work because I can wrap this up real tight. Problem is it's like fraying at the end, so it's hard to get it pulled through the little hole. Problem is now I have too much masking tape on there. But that will help to pull that through the hole, hopefully. And still gonna be a little tight. Yeah, there we go. Okay, then simply remove the masking tape and tie our knot. Do you display? Oh, dendrobium. Okay. My dendrobium in the background. Yes, that's also there. Yeah, it's normally here, like where my computer is right now. I'm looking at you guys is normally where the dendrobium is, but I have to move it when I do a live build because obviously it's in the way. Now the thinner side goes into the shield, and the thicker side goes into this joint, like that. All right, easy enough. What were we talking about? How does the build feel compared to the Full Mechanics Aerial in terms of complexity and build quality? Well, the complexity and build quality, I would imagine, again, I've not built the Full Mechanics Aerial, so I don't know, but I'd imagine that's very similar. As far as the just stability of it, that's the kind of only real concern I really have with this kit at this point, is just kind of how stable everything's going to be once it's all put together, because it does have a very big and heavy backpack. And that's the one thing that I will admit, where the Full Mechanics and RE lines both have had trouble in the past, is just kind of their general stability. But we'll find out here in a moment. It's an issue that the kits have had Though that said, kind of weird. That said, not an issue that really bothers me all that much, because if the kid's having trouble standing up, you just have to glue something somewhere in the midst. Something needs to be glued, which I don't have a problem doing. But that said, I understand that for a lot of people, if not like most people, they don't want to have to glue stuff, because one of the great things about Gunpla is just how articulated everything is, right? You want to maintain that, but if you don't mind about that and you're fine with just gluing a little something here and there, it's not an issue at all. But oops. I heard where that piece went, but I don't see it. Uh-oh. I may have to take a second to find that piece, because it fell out, and I heard where it went, but I don't see it where I thought it went to. In the meantime, let me just put these out here for a second, and I'm gonna have to get down on the floor. Let's see. This. Well, that wasn't too hard, fortunately. It was in my paint drawer. Okay. Same thing happens when I build my HDR. Yeah, it happens sometimes. The problem is, and I've noticed this on a couple of sections of this build so far, there's been a couple of moments where you kind of have to do a little bit of a balancing act when putting the parts together. Like, once it's together, it's very secure, but in the meantime, you kind of have to be careful to just kind of hang on to everything carefully while you're putting it together. And it's kind of the case with these little vent parts here on the top of that section there. But now that it's on, I don't have any worry that it's going anywhere. But okay. So, next. I feel like I'm building like a whole separate kit now. But let's see. No, that's not even the right part. Here, we want this one. So I guess these goes on here first, on the front. Like this. And then... That was not correct. Don't worry, I'll get it. That actually goes in here. Yeah, a little bit confusing construction there for that part, but I got it. There we go. It makes sense once it's together, but like when I was putting it together, I was thinking like, is that right? This part right here, you got this these parts for this kind of like little section right here. Okay. And that goes on the front. Then vents. Man, there's a lot going on with this thing. There we go. Got the vents in there. And another clear part. No stickers for this one, though. But that will fit into here, I think. I should make sure I'm following the manual, though. Would probably be a good idea. It does go in there first. Come on. There we go. Gotta get the angle just right. Let's see. Do you think that Korea would ever get a 1-to-1 scale Gundam statue, since there is the Gundam base, Korea Astray? Would that be the statue? I don't know. The Astray, yeah, it could be an interesting candidate for a 1-to-1 in Korea. I'm not sure if that would be it. I don't know. It's certainly like a popular design, yeah. But considering it's not like a lead Gundam from a series, I don't know. That's tough to say if that's something that might ever happen or not. All right. There we go. Now what? There's still more? Ow! Fuck. Stabbed myself on a chisel sticking out of the shelf there. Whoop. Oh, other way around. There we go. Really cool layering of these thruster bells here as well. Give some nice separation and detail here for these even. For the backpack, we put this lower part on here first. Don't really know if, doesn't really seem like that would make any difference, but pop that on there first. Then put these on here. And finally, these parts which we built, like the first parts of the backpack that we put together, are the last parts of the backpack assembly. And at long last, once all of that is said and done, then you can attach the backpack onto the Gundam. So here we go. Okay, this is gonna be a bit tricky, I feel like, because that part also moves. So once you go to put it on, it's just like moving out of the way. So I need to do this. Like that. There we go. Woo! It's a big boy. And we're not quite done. We do have the weapon, which I apparently skipped over. Did I? Where did we build that? Oh, it's just kind of weird. I didn't skip it over, but if you look here in the manual, you finish the backpack, and then it shows it all complete like this because it's showing like some of the gimmicks, and it shows it with the weapon. So I'm thinking like, oh, okay, it should be done at this point because now it's showing the gimmicks. When on the next page is where we actually build the weapon. It's a bit weird, but it is kind of a cool feature of this manual. You guys will see it in the video, in the unboxing portion of the video, but it kind of shows you gimmicks throughout the manual. So like here, for example, it's the start of the backpack, and it shows you the gimmick of the backpack right here, right at the start. Or like for the legs here, the legs, it shows you the leg gimmick that I showed you guys, how the part, when you bend the knee, the part's kind of tuck in at the back. It shows you that right there. So it's kind of cool that you're like reminded along the way, like, okay, now that you're putting this section together, remember it does that, because that does happen to me sometimes. Like I'll notice something, or like I know that it, like just based on like photos that I've seen or whatever, that a kit is supposed to be able to do this, or when I'm putting it in the middle of putting it together, I notice that it can do X or Y. Then like later, once I'm like posing the kit, I kind of just forget. So the reminders right in the middle of building there in the manual, it is a kind of nice little aspect there. So, all right. It does look cumbersome, for sure. And I mean, the backpack is heavy, but it would appear probably, we'll see once it comes to actually posing the kit, that it's made in a way just kind of like playing with it here. So what my concern would be is that it has articulation like a stomach crunch, ab crunch in the midsection, that if it goes back at all, the backpack's just going to weigh it back every time. One of the ways around that is to have the connection point for the base to be plugged into the backpack and not the main body, like under the hips like normal. This doesn't have that. It does only have a action-based connector only for under the hips, which could be an issue, but it seems like it just doesn't have any kind of back bend, although it does have a kind of weird bend backwards of the hips, which could be kind of interesting, but it might be problematic as well. We'll see when it comes to the review. But right now, let me just finish putting the weapon here together real quick. We'll call it a day, and I'll work on the review for you guys. All right. Even with the weapon here, it looks like we've got some nice color separation of everything. Alright. Just that. Little cap piece there at the top, little spike right there at the bottom as well. This little piece right here, and this little spiky bit, and that's it. So that will fold up and down. It's very large here as well. This is what, 25.5 centimeters long, very, very long there. And the blade itself is super long as well. Blade, it's like 15 centimeters long. So pretty cool, pretty unique weapon there for that. And I think this can store on the inside of the shield, right? Looks like it. It's right in there like that, if you guys can see. on the inside of there. Let me zoom out because this is a big boy. And there we go. Yeah. All right. So there you go. That is it. Very cool kit. I am very impressed. My only concern, like I said, is going to come down to like stability with it. And for that, we'll find out once we get to doing some poses in the review. But otherwise, it looks great, feels great, smells pretty good, and even, well, it doesn't taste very good. I won't give it that, but otherwise, it is pleasing to the rest of the senses. So 2 thumbs up. That's going to be it for today, guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Very cool kits, definitely. In the absence of any new MGs as of late, I would say if you're hungry for some MG goodness, I would say check this kit out. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one. So I'll work on this review for you guys tomorrow. Hopefully I should be able to have it finished and uploaded for you guys like by tomorrow night. I will try my best. And also I should have that new Gundam head bust finished pretty soon, and I'll show you guys the results for that as well. I guess it tastes a little plastic. Yeah, needs some salt or something. Anyway, but okay, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out. I know that if you guys do want to pick up this kit, I believe we do still have it in stock here at USA Gundam Store. We just did recently get it in, so it is in stock now, as last I knew. So you can check it out there. If you want to wait for the review, though, like I said, I'll have the review. I'll do my best to have that for you guys by tomorrow night. So in about 30 hours or so from right now. So check that out. But yeah, I would say, if you don't feel like waiting, I would say definitely check it out. But I'll see you guys later. I don't know if there will be another live build this week. I don't think so, but I'll let you guys know. As always, thank you so much just for following on different social media. I mean, that's where you can get the heads up ahead of time for live builds on Instagram, Facebook, X. Yeah, I am on Threads, but I've not used it at all. Are you guys using it? Let me know. Okay, that's it for today, guys. See you later. Bye.